Thank you. Please be seated. You may step down. If you'll just remain available, you'll be called back in just a minute. Feel free to go. Would you like to make a record as to your objection?
Yes, Your Honor, the objection was hearsay. She's going to testify that she received a phone call from...
Is this more than one call?
Yes.
Is it from the same person or from different people?
Different people. She testified one was from Josette Harding and one was from Karen... What's Karen's last name? Clark. Those people are not going to testify at this hearing. In one of the phone calls, Karen Clark or somebody said that Dr. MacNeill wanted to reschedule the safety fair award because his wife was sick. And so this is double hearsay. Karen Clark and Josette Harding are not testifying.
That's what Karen would say, right?
Yes.
What about Josette?
I don't know specifically what Josette would say other than he wanted to change the time.
Is that accurate?
Your Honor, my understanding of Ms. Frost's memory is that she is not entirely sure which told her what. She received 3 separate phone calls indicating that they needed to move the award ceremony for Dr. MacNeill's benefit. When she objected to that because she wanted to have it at 11:45 when the most people could be there to see it. When she objected to that, she was told that basically it was for a good reason. Dr. MacNeill's wife needed attending to, was sick, and he needed to be able to go and attend to her.
So in that vein, are you offering it for the truth then of the matter asserted?
No, Your Honor, I'm offering it for the effect on the hearer. It explains why Ms. Frost was willing to adjust the safety fair schedule, specifically this main event of the award ceremony, to different times, in spite of the fact that it was contrary to her original plan and she really didn't want to.
And, Your Honor, we do not have, Karen Clark was never interviewed, so we don't know what she had to say. We tried to find Karen Clark and we could never find her. So we don't know what her testimony is going to be. And it's my understanding from what Mr. Perkins has said is that her testimony is even changing today because there was nothing ever said about that Dr. MacNeill had to get the award and that they requested that he send somebody over to get the award. That's totally new information to us. And we do not have these people to testify, and so I would ask that it be excluded specifically in terms of that they said that Dr. MacNeill's wife was sick. I understand that if she changed the award for a reason, that's fine, but there's no reason to have the statement about that Michelle was sick be introduced specifically when we don't have those people who are going to be testifying during this trial.
As we talked at the bench, I think this is an issue of hearsay on hearsay. It's a double hearsay question. The initial statements of the doctor to these individuals are being offered against him, and so that they would be statements of a party opponent, and so we're really looking at that next stage, and if it's offered for the effect on the hearer to show why she moved the safety fair to a different time, that's not hearsay. My concern is this issue, she needed a good reason to move it, and if that's how the state's going to offer this, that she had a good reason, it seems to me that my wife was sick, it becomes offered for its truth.
I would disagree, Your Honor.
Help me understand that.
Well, whether it's true or not, that's what she was told, and that's what she based her decision on. I think that's effect on the hearer.
And so if she didn't does it matter then, the reason? I mean, what would she say? I wouldn't have changed it for any other reason, or?
I think in the back and forth on these calls requesting her to move the award ceremony for Dr. MacNeill's benefit, you know, what she's saying is ultimately she decided to do that because it was represented to her that there was, that he needed to go out and attend to his wife. I think she relented because of that representation, whether it was true or not. I don't think she knows whether that was true or not.
But, Your Honor, I would argue that because Dr. MacNeill was the director of the developmental center, he has authority, and so he has authority to change that, and she would relent because of that. We don't need the damaging statement about that his wife was sick for the jury to hear, for them to understand that he was trying to change the date. That's what they're trying to convey to them, and that's conveyed without the statement about her being sick.
So that I understand your argument then is the reason given was important because that reason had the effect on the hearer. If there had been some other less important reason, then there would be no...
She may not have agreed to change the ceremony.
Okay, what about the 403 question?
Whether it's
prejudicial? Yeah, because my concern is, I understand, I tend to agree with you. The reason may be just for effect on the hearer. It doesn't really, it could be, there's a continuum of importance of reasons, and what you're saying is the reason that was given was important enough that she changed what she did not want to change. And so that seems to me effect on the hearer. The problem is the jury may need to be instructed about how it can use this. That it's not being offered to show that Michelle MacNeill was in fact sick, but to show the reason that she changed. And this is a 403 question, and a limiting instruction just calls attention to it. So help me understand how I should deal with the 403 question.
Your Honor, we're fine with the limiting instruction. I frankly think the prejudice is negligible, because the jury is already aware that she has surgery and that she's been attended to, or they will become aware later that Alexis had been attending to her for the week previous.
But the problem is, we're going to hear from Alexis, who will say Michelle MacNeill was fine this morning.
Okay.
And so that's where I'm thinking there may be a problem to that. If it was undisputed that she was ill that morning, I would tend to agree with you.
Well, I see that issue as well, Your Honor. But we have other testimony, if Roma Henry's allowed to testify, others that where Martin, when he was at the award ceremonies, did say other things. I need to pick up my daughter, Ada. Other things that indicate that he is attending to duties that maybe his wife normally would have done.
Any other statements about her being ill that we will hear?
I believe, I'm trying to remember who it was, but I do believe there's one other USDC employee at the safety fair who will say that Dr. MacNeill entered and was saying he needed to receive the award because he needed to leave to pick up his daughter Ada from kindergarten and check on his wife.
Okay. Go ahead. On the 403 issue?
Yeah, this is very hotly disputed. Like I said, this is a very damaging statement, and a limiting instruction is not going to help because the jury is going to hear the evidence, and then we call attention to it again by saying, ladies and gentlemen, you can't use it for this purpose. Well, the damage is done. And so for that reason, I ask that that portion of it be excluded. The state is still going to be able to argue that Dr. MacNeill called and she rearranged the safety affair around his schedule. And if that's what they want it for, that's what they're going to get anyway. It's just that we don't need that statement about her being sick.
In response to that, Your Honor, I fail to see how the jury hearing that Dr. MacNeill represented to others that he wanted to go home and take care of his wife, whether it's true or not, rouses them to overmastering hostility and causes them to make a judgment based on their hatred for him or their strong emotions against him. I just don't see how it rises to that level.
But what you just said is a different statement. If what he had said is, I need to have it rescheduled so I can go home and take care of my wife, that would be a less prejudicial statement. But I think what you told me is that she will say that it needs to be rescheduled because my wife is sick. Which one will she say, do you know?
I don't know for sure, Your Honor. I believe in the past, I believe her statement to investigators was that he said something about his wife being sick.
Why don't you talk to her? Let's take a break. I need to know exactly what her testimony is going to be. We can make a proffer, and then I can decide about its prejudicial effect. I'd like you to think carefully about a limiting instruction, whether you want it or not. Court's in recess.
All rise.